Hey, it's Ashley Sanye and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do just a little bit of a survival tips for the University of Georgia specifically. A lot of these tips could probably be used for other schools, but I'm just going to talk about the University of Georgia because that's where I transferred to my junior year. And these were a couple of things that I learned that made my life a lot easier once I figured it out. Real quick, I just want to preface that I'm not a college YouTube channel. I've already graduated from the University of Georgia. This channel is really just more of my life and things like that. So if you'd like to follow along, please do. But I just thought I would share this while I'm fresh out, remember these kinds of things, and to help anyone and incoming freshmen coming in this year. So let's go ahead and get on to the tips. Alrighty, so the first tip is something that you've probably already kind of heard before or just know about a little bit, but that is get all of your UGA gear from Marshall's, Burlington, Walmart, pretty much any of these stores for like a really low price. The bookstore is extremely expensive. That goes for all schools. It just costs way too much money. And I cannot tell you how many really nice dry fit shirts I've gotten for like $15, $10, $20 from Marshall's, Burlington especially. Don't sleep on Burlington. There's so much stuff there. And for me personally, walking around that extremely hot campus, all I wanted to do was wear t-shirts. So I made sure I bought a lot just so I could kind of be in the spirit of UGA and all of that stuff. Okay, my next tip has to do with the weather. So this is a fun topic because at the University of Georgia, when it rains, it floods. Literally the campus turns into a river and there's flowing water everywhere and your shoes are not safe. So one of the biggest tips that I want to give is make sure you have some really good rain gear shoes. Sneakers, for me personally, didn't always work because when I tell you it was like a literal river walking to some of my classes, you could step off the sidewalk onto the crosswalk and there would be like a stream of water and it would just enter my shoes, enter my socks because the sneakers aren't fully like sealed. So then it would just end up being one of those days where you accepted that your shoes and socks are gonna be wet all day until you get back. So I would say invest in a good pair of rain shoes, or at least invest in a good pair of sneakers that you know for sure don't get extremely wet. Like I had Nike Roshis and they just soaked up water so much. So just know, make sure you have that. Make sure you have a really good rain jacket that's extremely waterproof. I've had some before that are water resistant, but when it rains a lot, like the shirt gets damp and it starts seeping in. Like, don't try and be cute when it rains. Make sure you are geared up, covered up, or else you're just going to be sitting miserable pretty much all day. Alright, so this next tip is a little bit of something that will help save you from a lot of embarrassment while you're on campus, specifically while you're driving on campus. Whenever you see a white line when you're driving, stay behind the white line. That white line is there for a reason. The reason being is because there are buses that take people everywhere on campus. And those campus buses take very, very wide turns. They need all of that space in front of that white line to be able to turn correctly and keep driving. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen someone drive past the white line and then a bus is trying to turn and they can't turn because the person's too far up, and the person tries to start backing up and there's cars behind them, so it's not really working. And now in the middle of a class change, you have people who are annoyed because the bus won't move, so I can't cross the street because the bus can't move. People on the bus who are annoyed because they need to get to class and they're late because you decided not to stay behind the white line, and you possibly risking the front of your bumper. I've actually never seen a car get hit, but I have seen it so close. I know like when you're turning left and stuff like that, you kind of try and creep up just so you can like turn. Like, don't even creep up, just stay behind the white line. I'm telling you, it saves so much embarrassment, so much hassle, so much everything, because those buses really need all of that space, so just give them that space. Okay, so my next tip is really going to save a lot of you guys getting to class on time. So there is a very famous place on campus, and that would be the center of campus where the MLC is, the student center, the stadium is there. Everything is there, meaning a lot of classes are there, especially a lot of freshman classes. So one of the #1 things that I used to see all of the time is that people would be waiting at the Tate bus stop and they'd be waiting for a bus to come through and pick them up. And when I tell you, the buses at UGA are always like jam-packed and full, but especially that Tate stop, there are literally like, it feels like 500 people trying to cram on to one bus, and a lot of times the doors will open and only a couple people can get on, and you're trying to get on so you can get up to your class or get back home or something like that. Let me save your life real quick. All buses that stop at Tate have to stop at the psychology journalism stop first. So the little secret that I lived by that saved me so much stress is, instead of waiting at Tate, I would take myself and I would walk up to the psychology journalism stop, and I would wait for the bus there and get on. And at the psychology journalism stop, I for sure always got on. At Tate, it was always a toss-up, but there, I always got on the bus. And then the bus would go and it would go to Tate, and then I would just be sitting in a seat watching all the other 500 people try and cram onto the bus. But I was already there just because I took the time to walk up that little hill and go to psychology journalism instead. I'm gonna go ahead and say you're welcome, because I know I'm gonna save so many lives with this hack. So that then brings me to my next point, which is probably something that a lot of people know, but being a transfer, I didn't really know about this, which was getting the UGA app. The number one thing that I used the app for was just the buses. It was really nice to be able to see when a bus was coming, where it was going, when it was leaving, to be able to track it, highlight all my favorite bus stops. You can also do a lot of things on there, like you can have your UGA email on there, you can have your like class schedule, all this stuff. But all I know is I really used it for the buses. I mean, I bet you they tell you at orientation and all that stuff, but for me, being a transfer, I feel like that kind of slipped, and I had to learn the hard way to figure out, oh my gosh, how in the world am I gonna figure out where the buses are coming, where they're going? And it also feels really good to be able to, before you start classes, to kind of plan out what buses you need to get on anyways. The buses can seem kind of complicated at first, but just having the app really allows you to easier get onto the bus and be all good. Also, just to throw it in there a little bit, when you're trying to get on a bus to go to class, try and get on the bus 15 minutes earlier than you would like to, because everybody wants to get on the bus about 15 minutes before class starts, and that's how you like miss buses, because they're full and you can't get on them because there are so many people who get on the bus. UGA is the kind of campus where you really have to use a bus to get to a lot of classes, especially if you're in the center of campus and all that stuff, or maybe you're living in ECV like I was. Try and get to the bus stops a little bit earlier so that way you're not stressing. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk to you about really doesn't have anything to do with like specifically the University of Georgia. It's just something that's offered through UGA. It is called Lyndacom. I actually think it's changing to like LinkedIn Learning or something like that, but if you go to lynda.com.uga or something like that, I'll leave the exact link here and down below. That is a really cool online learning platform. It's a lot like Skillshare, where you can go in and you can type in types of things that you want to learn, and you can like get certificates in. You could literally take whole courses on Photoshop, on video editing, on interior design. There are so many certificates that you could learn while doing that. So for example, I was a public relations major. However, I really like editing and video and stuff like that a lot better. So I've taken a couple classes. I haven't been that thorough with it, I'll admit, but I've taken some online courses in those classes, and then I can get certificates on that and then put that on my resume. So not only did I leave UGA with my public relations degree, I also left it having a certificate in this and that and whatever, and now I look a lot more diverse and I've learned a lot more things, and that looks really, really good for when I'm applying for jobs, because I use that free platform that is available to all UGA students. All you have to do is log in with your UGA ID information. But yeah, so that's pretty much all of the little random tidbits and things that I could think about for UGA. Like I said, I am not a college channel because I'm no longer in college, but I have done a couple days in my life there, a week in my life there. I did a room tour of ECV because that's not meant for two people, it's meant for one. So I showed how me and my roommates split up everything. And that's proven to help a lot. So I'll link all of those videos, as well as like my transfer experience and pretty much just everything that has to do with college. So please give this video a thumbs up, and also share it with your friends so people can see these other hacks and stuff to really help make your life a little bit easier at UGA. And please subscribe to my channel. I don't make a lot of college videos, but I make a lot of life after college videos, my life, my relationship, what I'm doing, just vlogging everyday life, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm very proud of the work that I make. So please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later, lovelies. Bye.